All right, we are back with a new video, and today we are continuing with this Brantsteele series. And the next season on board is Survivor Pearl Islands. I just realized I forgot to turn on the reasoning and the relationships. Let me just do that real quick. All right, so yep, we're doing Pearl Islands today. If you're new to the series, we're basically just gonna go through the season and see what happens. Like I like to do these brand seals, and yeah, let's just dive right in. So right off the bat, there's no alliances on the Drake tribe. In terms of relationships, we see Rupert and Burton liking each other a bit. We also see Michelle and Burton liking each other, not liking each other. I mean, we have Johnny Fairplay not liking Michelle. I can't say I'm too surprised there. We have Krista kind of liking Fairplay. We have Rupert not liking Sean. We have Rupert liking Krista a bit. We have Trish kind of liking Krista. We have Rupert and Fairplay liking each other. That's interesting. We have Michelle and Krista liking each other. And we have Fairplay and Burton liking each other a bit. All right, so things seem pretty not too surprising on Drake to start off with. Over at Morgan, we see Nicole Delma not liking Dara. We have Tawana not liking Rhino. We have Skinny Ryan not liking Savage. We have Nicole Delma not liking Savage. Oh. We have Austin and Lil not liking each other. I can see why. We have Dara not liking Nicole. We have Tawana kind of liking Savage. We have Lil and Savage not liking each other. We have Rhino and Savage not liking each other. Man, a lot of people don't like Savage. And we have Skinny Ryan kind of liking Dara. Okay. So with that, we get to our first immunity challenge. And as you can see, we have Drake winning immunity. They've won 50 waterproof matches. And so far, so good. Or at least so far, this is like the real life scenario. Now, what I was interested in, I'm- it's sort of interesting that they don't have the the surprise marooning where they got to go into the village, but I guess you can't do everything on these brand seals. So back on Drake, we see Michelle and Sandra bonding a bit. We have Burton and Sandra bonding a bit. All right, so we're starting to see our first glimpses of Sandra here. Over on the Morgan, we see Andrew Savage and Nicole Delma having a small fight, and Nicole is now targeting Savage as a result. Can't say I'm too surprised there. We see Skinny Ryan targeting Austin for having a bit of a negative opinion of him. All right, that's interesting. We see Dara targeting Rhino. We have Savage targeting Tawana. And it seems like it'll either be Savage or Rhino going home. Now, going into this vote, I would assume Savage is in some trouble, as it seemed like there are more negative relationships there. And plus, it doesn't help that he got into a fight. But let's see what happens. So, Morgan goes to tribal. The votes are cast, and it is time to read the votes. So, first vote is for Rhino. Savage, one vote each. Rhino, 2-1. Savage, 2-2. Rhino, 3-2. Savage, 3-3. Rhino, 4-3. One vote left. Are we going to get a tie here? And we get a tie on the first tribal of the game. It is a tie between Savage and Rhino. So we revote, and the first vote is for Savage. Rhino, one vote each. Rhino, 2-1. Okay. Savage, 2-2. We have two votes left. Savage, 3-2. Are we going to get a deadlock? And the first person voted out of Survivor Pearl Islands is Savage. I can't say I'm too surprised. I mean, he seemed like he was trying to be a bit too domineering. Definitely got on some people's nerves, and I'm not too surprised that he went home here. Let's just see the votes. So we see right off the bat that Dara switched her vote. So Lil Nicole, Rhino, and Skinny Ryan all voted together. Aldera was the one to flip her vote. We see Tawana, Austin, and I guess Dara kind of being left on the outs there. Okay, so this was an interesting vote here. So with that, we get to episode 2 now. We see Drake and Morgan now getting a bit readjusted. We now have a twist where the castaways are given the opportunity to mutiny to the other tribe. Oh yeah, I forgot. Pearl Islands did have a mutiny, didn't they? Oh, it might have been off screen, but I know Thailand had one, but I don't I don't remember Pearl Islands having one, but it's been a while since I watched Pearl Islands. But we see Trish takes the bait. She mutinies from Drake to Morgan, and Rhino mutinies from Morgan to Drake. Okay, I mean, I guess Rhino assumes that he was going to be the next one to go, which prompted him to flip. Not sure about Trish though. I mean, I'm not sure if this is the right move for either of them, but we'll see what happens. So we see now we have our new tribes. Drake has Rhino now, and Morgan has Trish now in its place. Over on Drake, we have some new relationships. We see Sandra and Burton liking each other. We have Sandra and Michelle liking each other a bit. We have Rupert and Burton liking each other a bit. We have Rupert and Krista liking each other a bit. We have Sean and Rhino not liking each other. So right off the bat, I feel like Sean doesn't really trust Rhino. We have Sean and Michelle liking each other a bit. We have Johnny Fairplay and Krista liking each other a bit. We have Michelle and Burton not liking each other. We have Johnny Fairplay and uh well, he likes Rupert. Don't know if Rupert likes him. And we see Michelle and Johnny Fairplay not liking each other. Okay. Going over to the new Morgan tribe, we have Nicole and Dara not liking each other. We have Skinny Ryan and Lil not liking each other. All right, that's a bit weird. We have Trish liking Dara a bit. We have Trish and Skinny Ryan not liking each other. We have Tawana and Austin not liking each other. We have Austin and Lil not liking each other. I feel like a lot of people don't like Austin. That's Can't say I'm too surprised. We have Skinny Ryan and Dara liking each other a bit. We have Lil and Dara liking each other a bit. We have Skinny Ryan and Nicole Delma not liking each other. Okay. We have Austin and Nicole not liking each other. All right. So a lot of people don't like Austin, it seems like. I don't think Nicole's in the best position either. So we get to a reward where Drake has one reward. And they win the first of 3 pieces of a map to a hidden treasure chest. Now let's hope this time they're able to find this one a little faster. They can select one member of their tribe to loot the other tribe. And as you can see, they choose Krista. I wonder what they take. No, like, would they take the tarp? I don't know. But it doesn't matter because Morgan wins their first immunity challenge. So with that, we have Drake going to Tribal Council. So back at Drake, we see Krista and Rhino bonding strongly, and Krista has a major meltdown for some reason. And Krista almost quits the game as a result, but decides to stay, probably because of Rhino. Not sure if the order of this makes sense. I feel like it would make more sense if the breakdown happened first and then Rhino kind of swooped in and kind of comforted her, and through that they bonded. But, it's Brantsteele. We see Sandra resting at camp to restore her energy. I mean, the challenge is over, but okay. We have our targets now with Krista targeting Sean. We have Fairplay targeting Rhino, who wants to get the new guy out. We have Rupert targeting Sandra. Okay. Rupert considers her a challenge liability. Well, okay, I guess. We have Michelle targeting Burton. And it's kind of a mess, but it seems like they've narrowed it down to either Sean or Sandra. I assume Sean would be voted out here. But first we have to go to Morgan. That's right. So it seems like Austin is starting to repair some of his damage here, where he's bonding a lot with Skinny Ryan, and he finds something in common with Tawana as well. So he got off to a rough start, but it seems like he is trying to make some amends. So with that, we get the tribal. I mean, if I had to guess, I would say Sean would be voted out. I mean, it seems like he's the less likable person, but who knows? It's Brantsteele. So we get our votes, and it's time to read them. First vote is for Sandra. Sean, 1 vote each. Sandra, 2-1. Sandra, 3-1. Sean, 3-2. Sean, we are tied again. 3 on Sandra, 3 on Sean. Sean, that's 4-3. 1 vote left. And Sandra, so just like on Morgan, we are having a tie on the very first tribal. So there's going to be a revote, and the first vote is for Sandra. Sandra, 2 votes, Sandra. Sean, that's 2 votes, Sandra, 1 vote, Sean. Sean, that's 2 votes, Sandra, 2 votes, Sean. Sean, that's 3 votes, Sean, 2 votes, Sandra, 1 vote left. And the second person voted out of Survivor Pearl Islands is Sean. Again, I'm not too surprised here. Let's just see the votes. So as you can see here, we have Burton, Krista, Michelle, and Sandra voting for Sean. We have Skinny Ryan vote on the outs once again, voting for Sandra. Rupert joins them. We have Fair Play, who ultimately wants to avoid the deadlock here. Flips his vote from Sandra to Sean. Okay, this is interesting. All right, so that was an interesting round, and with that, we get to episode 3. All right, so over on Drake, we have Sandra having an unbreakable bond to Michelle. Michelle has a pretty strong bond to Sandra, but probably not an unbreakable one. We have Michelle and Krista really not liking each other at this point, kind of being a crack. We have Sandra and Fairplay having a small bond. Interesting stuff there. I wonder what changed between last time and this time. We have Rhino and Krista having a small bond. Wait, they bonded strongly. Or unless. So I guess they bonded first and then the breakdown happened. I think. Which caused their bond to weaken a bit, perhaps. I don't know. Sandra and Burton have a small bond towards each other. Rupert really doesn't like Krista. All right. Fairplay really doesn't like Krista. Well, he kind of doesn't like her. So that's interesting. So Rupert doesn't like Krista, but Krista likes Rupert. Huh. So it seems like a pretty one-sided thing going on here. And we have Rupert and Fairplay having a bond here. These dynamics, I mean, they're kind of interesting. Over on Morgan, oh yeah, there's still no alliances. That's sort of strange. So we see Skinny Ryan and Austin liking each other a lot. We have Tawana and Austin liking each other a bit. We have Nicole and Dara really not liking each other. We have Austin and Lil not liking each other. We have Skinny Ryan and Lil not liking each other. We have Trish and Skinny Ryan not liking each other. We have Skinny Ryan and Nicole not liking each other. We have Lil and Dara not liking. I mean, they do like each other. We have Tawana and Nicole not liking each other, and we have Skinny Ryan and Dara liking each other. So it seems like Skinny Ryan might be on the outs a bit, but let's see. So Morgan wins reward. They have won a mattress, pillows, and blankets. They win the first piece of their treasure map, and they can select one member of the tribe to loot the other tribe, and they pick Tawana. Again, I don't know what the point of this is. So that happens, and then they also win immunity. So I guess whatever they took from Drake must have helped. Interesting. So back at camp, we see Krista and Michelle having a small fight. I mean, I think Krista is probably going to be a target here. Rhino has a major meltdown. He's probably starting to regret his life choices, starting to regret coming over from Drake. I mean, from Morgan. And speaking of which, we have our first alliance forming with Michelle and Sandra having an alliance there. And through that, we get our targets. So Rhino is targeting Burton, Krista is targeting Johnny Fairplay, Michelle is targeting Rhino, Johnny Fairplay is targeting Krista. We have the duo of Michelle and Sandra targeting Rhino. And through that, we get our targets. It will either be Rhino, Burton, or Johnny Fairplay. Over on Morgan, we have Trish impressing the rest of the team. And through that, we have our first alliance form of Dara, Austin, Skinny Ryan, and Tawana. What an interesting group. Definitely the most likely combination in the world. And that's it all for them. So with that, we get to Tribal Council. Like I said, I think Rhino's probably going to be toast. That's probably why he had a breakdown. Probably realized he was at the bottom. And through that, we get to our votes. We'll read them. So first vote is for Johnny Fairplay. Rhino, 1 vote each. Burton, 1 to 1 to 1. Rhino, 2-1-1. Johnny Fairplay, 2-2-1. Rhino, that's 3 to 2 to 1, and it's 1 vote left. And the third person voted out of Survivor the Pearl Islands is Rhino. So it was 4 to 2 to 1. Let's just take a look at the votes here. So Burton, Fairplay, Michelle, and Sandra all voted for Rhino. Not too surprising there. We have Krista and Rupert voting for Fairplay. Oh, so interesting. Rupert voted for Fairplay. Interesting. I mean, they liked each other apparently. Maybe that doesn't last. And then Rhino was just completely left out of the vote here by voting for Burton. Okay. Yeah, that was a fun round. All right, we get to episode 4 now, where the Drakes are now down to 6, while the Morgans are still strong at 7. Over at Drake, we have Michelle and Sandra being a very strong pair, but Michelle and Krista really don't like each other. Sandra's building her bond with Fairplay some more. We have Sandra and Burton liking each other. Rupert has a small bond towards Fairplay, even though he voted for him at the last tribal. We have Krista liking Burton a bit. We have Fairplay like being awfully forgiving, and he still likes Rupert. Oh, that's nice. So Rupert likes Krista, Krista likes Rupert, and Rupert and Burton like each other. All right, that's interesting. Over on Morgan, we have our alliance. Don't really do much, but within there, we see Trish and Nicole liking each other. We have Skinny Ryan and Austin liking each other. We have Tawana and Austin liking each other a bit. This is good for Austin. Like he's definitely been improving his position in the game. So yeah, so Trish also likes him. Nicole and Dara don't like each other. That seems like a crack there. Austin and Lil don't like each other. Okay. We have Skinny and Ryan and Lil not liking each other. We have Tawana and Dara liking each other a bit. And we have Trish and Lil not liking each other. So it seems like interesting. People don't like Lil. So we get to a reward where Morgan has won their, what is it, their fourth challenge in a row? I think. And through that, they win a sewing machine and material. They win their second piece of their map. And they choose Tawana again to go loot the camp. Probably not going to help Tawana in the long run that she keeps being associated with taking from the Drakes, especially since Doesn't seem like the Drakes have a lot at their camp, like with them losing all the time, but it is what it is. And with that, we get to the immunity challenge where Drake pulls it out and they win immunity. And as part of that, they must kidnap a member of the losing tribe who will no longer be attending tribal, and they choose to kidnap Nicole. Interesting. So obviously in the real life, like you had this storyline where Drake won the first three challenges and then they decided to throw a challenge. Yeah, they threw the challenge. I think it was to vote out Trish, I think? Or was it about Sean? I don't remember exactly. Yeah, so they did that, and then this twist came in and kind of screws them over where they kidnap Rupert. Rupert just helps them, Morgan, and that's part of the reason why the momentum shifts. So yeah, that's interesting. Over at Drake, we see Krista and Fairplay having a small fight. It has a lasting impact, but nothing else happens. So with that, we move to Morgan now, where Tawana has a major meltdown. At this point, she's probably starting to feel very guilty for having gone to Drake so many times and and stole stuff from them. But aside from that, we have our targets now. So Austin is targeting Lil, not too surprising there. But Lil is targeting Dara. Interesting. We have Trish targeting Skinny Ryan. We have Dara targeting Trish. We have the four-person alliance all targeting Lil. So it seems like going to this vote, either Lil or Trish will be the targets going home. And with that, we get to tribal, where I assume that Lil will be voted out. I mean, makes sense. So we read the votes, and the first vote is for Lil. I mean, you probably already saw that, but whatever. Trish, that's one vote each. Lil, that's two votes Lil, one vote Trish. Lil, that's three votes Lil, one vote Trish, one more will do it. The fourth person voted out of Survivor Pearl Islands is Lil. Okay, that was interesting. I mean, yep, she was voted out unanimously. So once again, Lil is a pre-merge boot. But the question is, what will happen next? I mean, I'll try not to say it too early, but you, if you watch the season, you'll know what I'm getting at. So with that, we see Drake kind of evening up the numbers a bit. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Uh yeah, so they kidnapped Nicole. Um so over at Drake, we have our alliance still. We have Sandra and Michelle again having their strong bond. We have Michelle and Krista having their rivalry. We have Sandra and Fairplay having their bond, which is weird. We have Sandra and Burton like each other, so Sandra again is building bonds. It's good. We have Rupert having a bond towards Fairplay. We have Rupert having a bond towards Krista. Krista has a bond towards Burton. Fairplay and Krista don't like each other, and Michelle and Burton don't like each other either. Okay. Over at Morgan, we see the Alliance holding strong. We see Trish not really liking Tawana. We have anything major? Yeah, I guess Trish and Skinny Ryan don't like each other, but that's something. You have Tawana and Skinny Ryan not liking each other. All right. And we have Austin and Dara not liking each other. So with that, we get to our reward challenge where we see Morgan wins reward. They win a bush shower, toiletries, cooking pot, rain jackets, and two jerry cans. They win the final piece of their treasure map, so that'll come in handy. Inside the treasure are additional creature comforts such as food, rations, and blankets. Let's just hope that it's not like what Drake found when they opened their treasure chest, where everything was soaking wet and probably expired. And we have Nicole returning to Morgan. Uh, I think on the actual show, like after this challenge, like Rupert had the choice of either enjoying the reward that Morgan won or going back to Drake. And Obviously, he comes back to Drake in the show, presents it as this big heroic moment. But here it's just like, yeah, Nicole just goes back to Morgan. I mean, I'm sure that was a very easy decision for her to make. Okay. And but this time they choose not Tawana, they choose Austin to go to Drake and loot whatever's left. I mean, what seriously, what is there left at Drake? But it doesn't matter because Drake wins the all important immunity challenge. It's the gross food eating challenge, and this time, Michelle's I guess her appetite really helps the tribe as they weren't trying to throw it this time. And I mean, Michelle wins it for them, so good on them. We now get to Drake, where Krista and Michelle have a big fight. So, I mean, I guess Krista wanted to throw it. She's mad at Michelle for downing her smoothie. We have Rupert and Sandra bonding very strongly. I don't know. We see also that Sandra and Fairplay, they are now the love duo, as Johnny is fine joining their alliance now. So, all right, so this is interesting. Now, moving on to Morgan, we have Skinny Ryan and Trish having a major fight. And it is so bad that Trish decides to form a new alliance, this time with Nicole and Austin. And we get to our targets now. So we see right off the bat that Trish and Skinny Ryan are targeting each other. We have Nicole targeting Tawana. We have Austin targeting Dara. We see that the first alliance of Dara, Austin, Skinny Ryan, and Tawana are all targeting Trish, while the second alliance of Nicole, Austin, and Trish are targeting Dara for some reason. So this is interesting. Interesting position for Austin to be in. I mean, he obviously can go either way here. He's going to be a pretty pivotal swing vote, I assume. But let's see what happens. I mean, obviously we have our targets where Trish, Dara, and Duana are the targets for some reason. Okay. So with that, we get to tribal council. 6 people voting. I don't know. Yeah, Austin formed this alliance with Trish, but I think he might cut her at the end of the day. I mean, I don't think he's going to have the numbers to really force their hand in this situation, but we'll see. So we see the first vote is for Trish. Second vote is for Dara. Trish 2-1. Dara, we are tied 2-2. Trish, that's 3-2. Dara, that is 3-3. And with that, we have a tie. All right. So with that, we move on to our revote, where first vote is for Trish. Second vote is also for Trish. Era, that's 2-1. So are we going to get a deadlock? Are we going to go to rocks? Nope. The fifth person voted out of Survivor Pearl Islands is Trish. Right? I can't say I'm too surprised there. So looking at these votes now, we see that Dara, uh, so Dara, Skinny Ryan, Tawana all voted for Trish, while Trish, Austin, and Nicole voted for Dara, but Austin flipped on the revote, realized he couldn't get the numbers to save Trish and cut her. All right, that was something. So with that, interesting. So now through that, we have Drake now holding on to a 6-5 lead, going into episode 6. Right. So we have over on Drake, we have our new alliance of Fair Play, Michelle, and Sandra. Within that, we see that Michelle and Krista's dislike has evolved into extreme hatred. Yikes. Meanwhile, we have Sandra and Michelle having a very strong bond. Sandra and Fairplay having a medium bond. We have Sandra Burton having a medium bond. We have Rupert and Fairplay having a small bond. Rupert and Krista have a small bond. Fairplay and Krista don't like each other. Sandra and Rupert like each other a bit. even though they were responding strongly earlier. We have Michelle and Burton not liking each other, and we have Fairplay and Burton liking each other. All right. Moving on to Morgan. We have our alliance here. Yep. So Skinny Ryan and Austin like each other. Tawana and Austin like each other as well. We have Tawana and Dara like each other a bit. We have Nicole and Dara really not liking each other. We have Austin and Dara really not liking each other. So wow, Dara isn't doing super hot. We have Tawana and Skinny Ryan doing not really liking each other. We have Skinny Ryan and Nicole not liking each other as well. We have Austin and Nicole liking each other a bit. We have Skinny Ryan and Dara liking each other a bit. And we have Skinny Ryan not liking Tawana. All right. So Morgan wins reward again. They have won a grill, spice, lobster, and steak. And they send Skinny Ryan to loot the other tribe. Again, don't know what he's taking. At this point, he's probably just taking the sand. And this time, Morgan wins immunity, ensuring that they'll go into the merge tied in numbers. Moving on to Drake, we see Krista and Fairplay having a major fight, while Krista and Rupert having a small fight. So Krista's really not happy right now. She's really not doing herself any favors. In terms of targets, we see Krista's targeting Krista and Michelle are targeting each other. Not too surprising there. We see this alliance going after Krista. So it'll either be Krista or Burton being the target. And over on Morgan, we have Austin and Ryan bonding a bit. Okay, that's not too surprising. So with that, we get to our vote. I mean, Krista's probably the boot here, but let's just see what happens. So first vote is Krista, Burton 2-1, Burton 2-2. Oh boy, Krista, that's 3-2. But the sixth person voted out is Krista. Okay, so let's take a look at the votes now, see where they landed. So we can see that it was Krista and Rupert voted to save voted against Burton. So wow, I mean Rupert was on the outs here. Okay. So with that, we are now on to episode 7, where the tribes are evenly split, set 5-5. Over on Drake, we have our alliances, as usual. And at this point, Sandra and Fairplay have now built an unbreakable bond. Who would have ever saw that happen? Sandra and Michelle also have a pretty strong bond. So wow. So Sandra's closer to Fairplay than she is to Michelle. That's sort of interesting. And Rupert and Fairplay like each other decently well, actually. So that's something. All right, these aren't too surprising. Jumping over to Morgan, we see again usual stuff. Skinny Ryan and Austin have a pretty strong bond at this point. Tawana and Dara have a pretty strong bond as well. Yeah, these aren't too surprising. Quickly scroll through these. And now, if the outcasts beat one tribe, that tribe will have to go to tribal and vote a player off. The outcasts will then vote one player back into the game. If the outcasts beat both tribes, Morgan and Drake will go back will both go to tribal and both vote off a player. The outcasts would then vote two players back into the game in that scenario. If both Drake and Morgan win, the outcast's chance to get back in the game will be forfeited. So we are at the outcast twist now. And we have Savage, Krista, Lil, Skinny Ryan, Sean, and Trish. The outcasts compete, and the outcasts win immunity. So just like the real life scenario, we're going to have a double tribal, and we're going to have two people re-enter the game. How exciting. So over at Drake, Rupert and Sandra have a small fight, probably because of the challenge, and it's gotten to the point where Rupert is targeting Sandra. Sandra is targeting Rupert. Fair Play is targeting Burton. Burton is targeting Michelle. So things are kind of all over the place. We have our alliance targeting Burton. And it seems like it'll either be Burton or Rupert going home from Drake. Over on Morgan, we have Nicole and Austin dissolve their alliance for some reason, probably realized it wasn't really worth it. And instead, Austin, instead of quitting the game, he is going to align with Skinny Ryan. And he still works hard at camp and becomes tired. Let's just hope that it doesn't like make him quit the game. In terms of targets, we see Nicole's targeting Austin, so clearly something must have happened between these two. We have Austin targeting Nicole. We have our alliance targeting Nicole now. Austin's probably realizing that Nicole's the one on the outs. That's probably the main reason that he broke up that alliance. Yep, so it seems like Tawana, Nicole, Austin are targets here, but I think Nicole will probably be going home for Morgan. So we now get to the Drake tribal. Time to vote, and it is first vote Burton, Rupert, one vote each. Burton, two votes Burton, one vote Rupert. Rupert, that's two votes Burton, two votes Rupert, one vote left. And the seventh person voted out of Survivor Pearl Islands is Burton. How ironic is that? So, in case you don't know, I mean, Burton was voted out in the real life show. I mean, Burton was voted out pre-merge, and he re-entered the game through the Outcast twist. But now we see him get taken out through the Outcast twist. How ironic! So we see here that who voted for Rupert? So who the hell voted for me? Sandra voted for Rupert. Interesting. So she was supposed to vote for Burton, but disagreed because that fight man that just got to them. Now I wonder what that's going to be like back at camp. So over on Morgan, we get to our tribal. I think Nicole's going to be voted out pretty clearly, but let's just see the votes. So first vote is for Nicole, Tawana, one vote each. Nicole. Yep, Nicole was voted out unanimously. Not too surprising there. Yeah, this was an interesting situation here. So now we have 4-4 Drake on Morgan. And here we go. Here we go. The Outcast Tribal. And I don't know who's going to get voted back in. I mean, this should be interesting. So the Outcasts each state why they should return. Each Outcast will place two votes for who they would like back in the game. The two Outcasts who receive the most votes will return. Yep. And so that we get to our vote. So first vote is for Krista. Okay. Rhino, one vote each. Trish, so that's one vote Krista, one vote Rhino, one vote Trish. Lil, that's one vote Krista, one vote Lil, one vote Rhino, one vote Trish. Savage, that's one vote Savage, one vote Krista, one vote Lil, one vote Rhino, one vote Trish. Savage, that's two votes Savage, one vote Krista, one vote Lil, one vote Rhino, one vote Trish. Lil, so that's two votes Savage, two votes Lil, one vote Krista, one vote Rhino, one vote Trish. Krista, so we have a three-way tie now between Savage, Krista, and Lil. Trish, so we have a four-way tie now, adding Trish in the mix. Krista, so that's three votes Krista, two votes Savage, two votes Lil, two votes Trish, one vote Rhino. Trish, that's three votes Krista, three votes Trish, two votes Savage, two votes Lil, one vote left. And the last vote is for Krista. That means that Krista and Trish will re enter the game. How exciting! And we get our votes here. So We see that Savage voted for Krista and Trish. He believes they can do well. We see Krista voting for Lil and Trish. Okay. We have Lil voting for Krista and Savage. We have Rhino voting for Lil and Krista. So Rhino believes Lil can do well, while Rhino just voted for Krista because they have a good relationship. We have Sean voting for Savage and Trish. We have Trish voting for Krista and Rhino. And that's it. So yeah, that was an interesting vote here. So yeah, Krista and Trish now back in the game. This should be pretty exciting. So they get back to camp, and the tribes have merged. We now have the Balboa tribe with the merge now. So with that, let's dive right into these dynamics. So over here we have our Morgan alliance of Dara, Austin, Skinny Ryan, and Tawana. We have our Drake alliance of Fairplay, Michelle, and Sandra. We have Austin and Skinny Ryan having an alliance. We have, yep, that's it. So at this point in the game, we have Skinny Ryan and Austin having an unbreakable bond. We have Michelle and Krista having extreme hatred towards each other. Oh boy, Michelle's probably not happy that Krista's back in the game. We have Sandra and Johnny kind of being a love tribe, I guess. We have Sandra and Michelle having a strong bond. We have Tawana and Dara having a medium bond. We have Trish and Austin having a medium bond as well. We have Trish and Skinny Ryan not really liking each other. We have Fairplay not too happy that Chris is back in the game. And we have Tawana and Austin having a medium bond towards each other. We now get to the immunity challenge where Sandra wins immunity. So, wait, what challenge was this? So, first round, the cast must jump from a pontoon into the water, pull themselves along a rope. Uh, so interesting. Oh, so it's the one where they keep swimming. Interesting that Sandra won that one. You never know with these brand seals. So getting back to camp, we have Krista and Rupert having a small fight. I mean, Rupert's also not too happy about Krista being back in the game. We have Sandra impressing the rest of the team. All right. And with that, we now have our targets. So Krista's targeting Michelle. Trish is targeting Skinny Ryan. Sandra is targeting Rupert. We have the Morgan Alliance targeting Michelle. We have the Drake Alliance targeting Rupert. We have, yep. So Morgan's going all in and targeting Michelle here. So it seems like the targets will either be Rupert, Michelle, or Skinny Ryan. Okay. So this will be an interesting vote. So Krista has safety. Trish has safety due to being outcast returning from the game. And Sandra has immunity, so there's that. I don't know. I mean, Michelle could be screwed over here, but we'll see what happens. So, first vote Rupert, Skinny Ryan, 1 vote each. Michelle, that's 1 to 1 to 1. Michelle, that's 2 to 1 to 1. Michelle, that's 3 to 1 to 1. Rupert, that's 3 to 2 to 1. Rupert, that's 3-3-1. Michelle, that's 4 to 3 to 1. 2 votes left. The ninth person voted out of Survivor Pearl Island is Michelle. Yeah, I'm not too surprised by this. I mean, it seemed like the Morgans had their ducks in a row, while it seemed like the Drakes, were more likely to turn on each other. And looking at these votes, we can see here that Krista, plus all of the Morgans voted for Michelle. While again, Drake's mostly stuck together. Well, no, the Drakes were trying to vote out one of their own. So obviously, you have Krista and Rupert flipping here to vote out Michelle. All right, I can't say I'm too surprised there. So with that, we now are at the final nine. All right, so final nine now. We have our usual dynamics here. So at this point, Skinny Ryan and Austin have an unbreakable bond. Wonder what Chris is doing now that Michelle's out of the game. That's sort of interesting to see. We see Rupert and Fairplay growing closer to each other, despite Fairplay once again trying to vote out Rupert. That's just funny to me. Fairplay doesn't like Krista. I mean, flippers always sink, I guess. Christian and Skinny Ryan also really don't like each other. And Krista doesn't like Fairplay, so there's that. We now get to our reward challenge where Trish wins a reward. And she shares it with Austin. They win at breakfast on a yacht. And we get to our immunity challenge where Trish has one immunity. Okay. So back at camp, we see Austin and Rupert having a major fight. Rupert and Tawana having a small fight. So again, we're probably having Rupert asking everyone, "Who the hell voted for me?" So there's that. And Krista and Sandra having a small fight as well. Sandra's probably not too happy about Krista being around, but not enough to actually target her, as we see Sandra targeting Dara, Tawana's targeting Rupert, Krista's targeting Sandra, Trish is targeting Fairplay. The Alliance, the Morgan Alliance, is all targeting Sandra, while Fairplay and Sandra are targeting Dara. So it seems like Rupert, Dara, or Sandra will be going home, and I think Sandra's toast. I mean, they're probably going after the core of the Drakes at this point. I mean, Sandra and Fairplay were pretty well positioned there, but we'll see what happens. So, Trish has immunity, and it is time to vote. So, first vote is for Dara. Dara, that's 2 votes, Dara. Sandra, that's 2-1. Sandra, that's 2-2. Sandra, that's 3-2. Sandra, that's 4-2. And the 10th person voted out of Survivor Pearl Islands. And the first member of the jury is Sandra. So it was 7-2. I mean, okay, pretty decisive there. So pretty much everyone except Sandra and Fairplay, obviously, were part of it. Everyone else voted for Sandra. Obviously, not too surprising. So with that, we are now at the final 8. So over at Balboa, again, usually as I get further along, I'm not going to repeat these as much. So Fairplay has definitely latched onto Rupert now, probably sees him as his best option moving forward. Trish and Austin have a strong bond at this point. Yep, we still have the Fairplay Krista rivalry. Tawana and Rupert really don't like each other. Rupert and Krista don't like each other. Yep, Rupert's kind of on the outs at this point. Really, seems like the Morgans are taking control. So we get to our reward challenge where the winner is Group 2, Austin and Rupert. Interesting. I wonder if this deep sea fishing trip will allow Austin to put Rupert at ease. But what good is that without the immunity challenge? And we see here that Dara has one immunity. Okay. So back at camp, we have Krista and Trish finding something in common. While Rupert and Trish have a minor disagreement, Rupert probably doesn't like the fact that Krista is someone that Trish likes. Not great there. We have Dara leaving the alliance, probably feel like she's on the outs. And we have a new alliance form, this time with Fairplay, Rupert, and Trish. Interesting stuff there. Wonder if this will be like a counter to the Austin and Skinny Ryan contingent. We see here that Rupert is targeting Tawana, Fairplay is targeting Krista, Trish is targeting Skinny Ryan, Skinny Ryan is targeting Trish, Austin is targeting Rupert, Krista is targeting Fairplay, Dara is targeting Austin. We see the alliance is going after Rupert, while the Balboa alliance is going after Krista. So it seems like it'll either be Krista or Rupert going home. My sense is Rupert goes home here. I mean, yeah, while Krista seems like a bit of a pariah, I mean, I can't see the Morgans giving her up just yet. So we'll see what happens. So the votes are read, and the first vote is for Krista. As you can see, next vote is for Rupert. Krista, that's 2-1. Krista, that's 3-1. Rupert, that's 3-2. Rupert, that's tied 3-3. Rupert, that's 4-3. Are we going to get a tie? Nope. The 11th person voted out of Survivor Pearl Islands, and the second member of the jury is Rupert. Like I said, this is like the real life scenario. Rupert goes out in 8th place here. We can see from the votes that it was pretty much the Morgans sticking together plus Krista. Makes sense. Trish really put herself on the outs here by forming an alliance with Fairplay. And with that, we get to the final 7 now. And again, I'll just breeze through some of these groupings. I mean, it's pretty clear at this point. Fairplay and Krista have an extreme mutual hatred. I mean, makes sense. Trish has a strong bond towards Austin, despite being not in the same alliance as him. Interesting. So yeah, there's that. We get to the family visit where Johnny Fairplay, of course, says that his grandma died. Well, no, he got his friend to say that his grandma died. Complete lie. And we see Trish wins the loved one visit. She wins an overnight stay at Balboa camp, and the rest of the tribe is banished to another island without their loved ones. How cruel. And we see Trish also wins immunity. So interesting. This was the word scramble challenge, and obviously this is the challenge where Burton won. No, he initially was called the winner, but and Jeff literally called him the winner. He gave him the immunity like belt or like the scythe or whatever that is, and they literally walked away, started to walk away from the challenge. But then Jeff was like, "Hold on a minute," and obviously call them all back, and he's like, "Oh, you guys just spelled liaison wrong." I don't know. That's just a pretty funny scene there. So doesn't seem like that happened here, but you know, it's Brantsteele. Back at camp, Austin has a major meltdown, and Skinny Ryan is also having a major meltdown. Both of them are freaking out. In terms of targets, we have Trish targeting Skinny Ryan, Austin's targeting Dara, Chris is targeting Fairplay, Fairplay is targeting Krista, not too surprising. We have the Morgan Alliance going after Dara. She seems like the one on the outs. And we see Fairplay and Trish going after Skinny Ryan at this point. So it seems like Dara, Fairplay, and Skinny Ryan are the main targets here. I think that Dara is probably going to go home here. Probably a mistake, probably doing it around too early, but we'll see. So first vote is for Dara. Skinny Ryan, 1 vote each. Fairplay, 1-1-1. Dara, that's 2-1-1. Fairplay, that's 2-2-1. Skinny Ryan. So we have a three-way tie of Dara, Fairplay, and Skinny Ryan. 1 vote left. And the 12th person voted out of Survivor Pearl Islands, and the third member of the jury is none other than Johnny Fairplay. All right, so that was the correct move, I think, for the Morgans to do that. I mean, there's no reason to keep Fairplay around in the game, although it was a bit of a mess, the vote. So we see here that Krista, Dara, and Tawana all voted for Fairplay. We see Austin and Skinny Ryan voting for Dara, which probably a mistake. I feel like so they kind of got saved here by they kind of got saved here. Yeah, and then Trish voted for Skinny Ryan, so there's that. All right, so we're now down to the final 6. Yep. So at this point, we have our alliances pretty well set. Although Trish and Skinny Ryan are the new Rivalry, they have extreme mutual hatred towards each other. Okay. I would say Austin's the most well positioned of the people still in the game. I mean, yeah. You get to a reward challenge where Krista, Austin, and Trish all win an overnight spa visit in swimsuits from luggage. Must have been a fun night there between these three. And we see Trish winning immunity once again. So it seems like Trish is kind of like the challenge piece of the season, from what I can gather. So back at camp, we see Skinny, Ryan, and Trish having a minor disagreement. We see a new alliance form. Interesting, a women's alliance. Kind of like what we saw in the original show. I mean, granted, it was with different women, but still, we have Krista, Dara, and Tawana all together. So pretty much just swap out Sandra with Krista, I guess. In terms of targets, we have Trish targeting Skinny Ryan. We have Austin targeting Dara. Again, probably a mistake for Austin to be targeting Dara, but it is what it is. So yeah, I mean, it all comes down to Tawana, really. I mean, she could either cause a tie or vote out Dara straight up. So because I don't think she'll be able to vote out Skinny Ryan outright. So we get the tribal. Trish has the immunity necklace. Time to vote. First vote is for Dara. Skinny Ryan, one vote each. Skinny Ryan 2-1. Skinny Ryan 3-1. Uh-oh. Dara, that's 3-2. Yep, so it looks like Tawana voted for Skinny Ryan to force that tie. So on the revote, we get first vote is for Dara. Dara. Oh wow. So was that unanimous? Interesting. So Krista and Trish both flipped on the revote to vote out Dara. Interesting stuff. So with that, we get to our final five now. I mean, again, we have our usual alliances at this point. Trish and Skinny Ryan is the main attraction here for rivalries. So we have Trish winning the second chance challenge. She wins the car. She takes Austin on a trip, and they go on a trip to Panama Viejo, ruins, suckling pig feast, and a GMC Envoy XUV. Okay, so that's probably not a good sign for them. Probably be flipped on soon, but it won't be Trish as Trish wins immunity again. Back at camp, we have Austin and Trish bonding strongly, probably from that reward they went on together. We see Tawana leaving the alliance. She's probably fed up with Austin and Skinny Ryan. And we see Trish targeting Skinny Ryan. Krista's targeting Austin. Austin's targeting Krista. Austin and Skinny Ryan are targeting Krista. Krista and Tawana are targeting Skinny Ryan. So it looks like Krista or Skinny Ryan will be the boot here. And it's really just I think Austin's going to lose Skinny Ryan here. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. So we read the votes. First vote is for Skinny Ryan. Skinny Ryan. Krista. Krista. So 2 votes Krista. 2 votes Skinny Ryan. 1 vote left. I should probably slow down a bit. The 14th person voted out of Survivor Pearl Islands, and the fifth member of the jury is Skinny Ryan. This was a good run for Skinny Ryan. Obviously, he made it much further than he did last time. I mean, where he was like the second boot, I believe. So this was definitely an improvement. So yeah, I mean, obviously good on him. And with that, it is finale time, and we have Krista, Austin, Tawana, and Trish all in the final four. Here we go. So we have here 2 post-merge boots. We have a pre-merge boot, and we have a quitter. Who would have guessed? So, like I said, we have our usual dynamics here. Austin seems to, I mean, aside from Krista, I mean, Everything else seems to be working perfectly for Austin. Like, if Austin can get out Krista, then he should be pretty well set for the final two. So we see here, oh yes, so for some reason the final four immunity, they had the jury voting. No, the jury got to compete in the challenge, and obviously the jury won in the actual show, which was kind of bizarre. But here, that's not the case. We see Trish, the challenge beast of the season, winning this challenge, and we get to our vote. I think Krista, but it could be Austin. Austin could be in trouble here. So first vote is for Austin. Tawana, one vote each. Krista, so we have 1 to 1 to 1. Uh-oh. One vote left. The 15th person voted out of Survivor Pearl Islands, and the sixth member of the jury is Austin. Wow. So Tawana voted for Austin here. Took out a major power player. I mean, that's good on them. And with that, we reached an all women's final three here of Krista, Tawana, and Trish, who will battle it out. So we see here, so Trish and Krista have an unbreakable bond. Tawana and Krista have a medium bond. But Trish and Tawana don't like each other. So I'm guessing Krista gets in the end no matter what. It's just a matter of whether Trish can pull it out. And I guess if Krista wins immunity, then she'll take Trish to the end. We'll see how they do at this final challenge. But it won't matter because Trish has won immunity once again. I lost count of how many she's won. And I feel like it's the end for Tawana. Like, she's going home here. And sure enough, she votes out Tawana. And through that, we have reached our final two of Trish versus Krista. So literally the two people that were voted out in the pre-merge came back into the game are literally the final two. Who would have guessed? I mean, that's interesting. I mean, again, I've been known to be wrong with these calls before. I'll say Trish wins. I mean, Krista seems to be pretty well hated. Plus, Trish has won a bunch of challenges. But who knows? It is Brantsteele after all. So they vote for the winner. First vote is for Trish. Krista. Krista, that's two votes Krista, one vote Trish. Trish, that's two votes Trish, two votes Krista. Krista, that's three votes Krista, two votes Trish. Trish, that's three votes Krista, three votes Trish, one vote left. And the winner of Survivor Pearl Islands is Trish. So I was right this time. I mean, that's good. Let's take a look at the votes. As you can see, so Fair Play, Austin, Rupert, and Sandra all voted for Trish, while Dara, Kenny Ryan, and Tawana all voted for Krista. Not too surprising there. Michelle wins fan favorite. Okay. And Trish is the winner. All right, so that was an interesting season. As you can see here, we have a pre-merge boot winning the season, although Outcast Twist kind of complicates things. What makes things more interesting is the fact that, again, it was both the Outcast returnees that ended up being the final two here. That was pretty interesting on itself. But let's take a look at these statistics. So, Trish just smashed the immunity win record here with 6 immunity wins. Everyone else, like, either had 0 or 1. Austin was the most strategic person on the season, sniped out the final 4. Darren, Ryan, Skinny Ryan were also quite strategic on their own. That's interesting. And Dara received the most votes against her with 15 votes against her. Sandra was in second with 13 votes, so much for anyone but me. And yeah, this is an interesting season. I mean, obviously, I enjoyed doing this. I mean, So yeah, that was Survivor Pearl Islands. If you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll be back with more relatively soon. I mean, with Survivor content, Amazing Race, Big Brother starting up soon, or at least Celebrity Big Brother. So yeah, there's a lot of shows to look forward to. I'll be sure to cover them. But for now, that is the video. See ya.